Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare revolves around the central dogma of fatalism, the belief that one's fate is preordained or perpetual. In Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare, two children, Romeo and Juliet, try to defy their star-crossed love. Despite the many obstacles or portents in their way, the two, along with Friar Lawrence, attempt to defy fate, which ultimately leads to their tragedy among many other tragedies. Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare's theme is that attempting to defy one's fate is fatal and futile. Romeo's downfall depicts the story's theme. He constantly defies fate and ignores his own warnings. For example, before he goes to the party, he says, "I fear too early my mind misgives. Some consequences that hang in the stars shall bitterly begin its fearful day." He ignores his own logic and proceeds to fall in love with Juliet. Another example is when he says, "I am fortune's fool." He ignores the fact that he is controlled by fortune and proceeds to say, "I defy you, stars." Essentially, because he does not heed to fate's warnings, he decides to commit suicide and mistakenly kills himself, leading to a woeful death. Julia accepts that her life is preordained, but tries to use unnatural devices to thwart fate. For example, she goes to Friar Lawrence and asks him for a potion. The potion symbolizes some unnatural device that thwarts the natural course of fate. However, because she does that, she deludes herself from reality and eventually ends up killing herself, Romeo, Paris, and many others. Lastly, Friar Lawrence represents a high figure, and if anyone can thwart fate, it would be him, because he's the most holy and authoritative figure in the book, besides Prince Escaldes. In the story, however, every attempt the friar does in order to defy fate is met with an increasingly intensifying consequence, ultimately leading to Romeo and Juliet's death. For example, after Juliet wakes up, she sees that Romeo has died, he says, "A greater power than we can contradict have thwarted our attempts." It shows that he cannot do anything, and he's a mere pawn. Fate cannot be defied, even from a holy authoritative figure such as Friar Lawrence. Perhaps if Romeo, Juliet, and Friar Lawrence had heeded to fatalism's dogma, the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet would never have existed.